The Nebraska Historic Tax Credits Program, referred to as NHTC, is a stimulus that provides additional financial incentives for the rehabilitation of Nebraska's historic properties. The initiation of the NHTC took place in 2015 with sunset scheduled for December 31st, 2022. Fortunately, it was reinstated by the Nebraska legislature as of September 2023. To celebrate the return of the NHTC and identify the improved legislation, we at Berggren Architects have teamed up with the Nebraska State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, to present this tremendous impact on the Nebraska economy for our communities. Administered by SHPO and Nebraska Department of Revenue, the NHTC provides tax credits for eligible expenses to preserve or restore historic structures within the state. We invited Interim Deputy of SHPO, Betty Gillespie, to provide the details.
Yeah, so it supports preservation by providing one of the few incentive tools specifically for historic properties. It can help fill gaps in financing, it can support a wider range of properties than other incentive programs do, and it can better highlight at the local level the significance of Nebraska's historic properties. In other words, it provides an avenue of support for more communities, more buildings that would otherwise be forgotten and/or abandoned.
The eligible expenses which were approved for our projects have included such items as interior modifications, which relocated some offices, providing a more efficient use of space and improved security and code compliance for the Jefferson County Courthouse. At the Sherman County Courthouse, eligible expenses included a new roof membrane, masonry tuck pointing, and replacement of missing pieces of terracotta. In both cases, the expenses of our design services were eligible expenses as well. Here is Betty to share additional examples of eligible expenses.
Yeah, so property-wise, it is any building type that is listed in the National Register of Historic Places or is locally listed. Properties that are not listed could be eligible for the program if they are determined eligible during their application process, but preferably having that determination made prior to work starting. And they would need to be listed by the end of their project as well. Non-contributing buildings in historic districts are also eligible, but only if they are economically viable within that historic district, and it has to be a listed historic district. So that last option of it being non-contributing is a much more rare occurrence and circumstance, but it does come up every now and then. Eligible properties also include government and nonprofit organizations, and that includes religious institutions and any income-producing entities. The availability of this program for local governments and nonprofits is its big difference between it and the federal program, which those entities are not eligible for. One other thing that I would point out here is their tax credit percentage eligibility. So for those in Greater Nebraska, they are eligible for up to a 30% tax credit on the qualified rehabilitation expenditures, while the metropolitan counties of Douglas, Lancaster, and Sarpy are only eligible for 25%. So a lot of properties are eligible, but how much tax credits are eligible for differs based on where they're located.
It's our belief that NHTC is a beneficial financial resource which helps counties with the ongoing care and maintenance of their older and historic structures. We have completed NHTC projects for Jefferson County, Sherman County, and Wayne County, and have new NHTC projects underway for Johnson County, Saunders County, Valley County, and Hamilton County. Betty shares a number of other benefits for those who utilize the NHTC.
Local governments and nonprofits are eligible for this program, but they're not tax liable. So how is that? It's possible because these tax credits are fully transferable or sellable. They can 100% sell all of their credits. Credits are often sold at 80 to 95 cents to the dollar. And this helps bring in a source of funding that would otherwise not be available for them. For-profit entities can also sell or transfer up to 50% of their credits, but not all of them. The rest go to tax liabilities. As a restriction on how they can use these, my biggest reminder to applicants would be that this is a reimbursement program. So they have to fully complete the project before they are awarded any credits, and they can't be allocated those credits until they have everything approved and no work can start.
NHTC is intended to be utilized by Nebraska property owners with structures eligible for listing on the National Register of Historic Places. The Nebraska legislature had the foresight to include municipalities and nonprofits by permitting the sale of the tax credits generated by their project. Here is Betty with more complete details.
So there's a $2 million cap on tax credits that can be allocated per project. So no single project will get more than $2 million in tax credits, and there must be a minimum of $5,000 in qualified rehabilitation expenditures. There are no limits on how many times an individual or organization can apply for tax credits. However, there is some limitations when it comes to when you can apply for multiple tax credits, especially if you are doing work on a singular building. What I mean by this is that a project can't have two open applications going on at the same time. Applicants will need to have completed one whole project before they can start another project on the same property. As soon as a Part 3 is approved, they can submit a Part 1. If an applicant has multiple buildings, they can apply for multiple tax credits at the same time. They can do all the buildings as a singular tax credit, but separating it into different tax credit projects helps you overcome potential issues with the cap.
The first three parts of the tax credit application are reviewed for approval by SHPO. With more than 40 years of experience working with SHPO, we have had numerous projects which required compliance with the Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation of historic structure. To reach approval, NHTC projects must comply with these standards. At the onset of the first NHTC program in 2017 and 2018, we were approached by a service interested in selling the tax credits, but they knew very little about the standards. Our first experience began with Janet Jeffries, our architectural historian, working with that service for the tax credits ultimately collected by Jefferson County. When that service ceased marketing the credits, we moved to working directly for our clients, the counties. Today, Janet is called upon for writing the narratives for all of the first three parts, while our architects and production staff collect photographs or create drawings to illustrate each of the work items for the Part 2 applications, as well as collecting the photographs for the completed projects for the Part 3 applications. All of our services are filed with SHPO. We also recommend that our clients retain either a specialized tax accountant or tax attorney for Parts 4 and 5. Those parts are reviewed and approved by the Nebraska Department of Revenue. Here is a look at one of our most recent NHTC projects, the exterior restoration of the Wayne County Courthouse. This project was completed April 30th of 2021. Here is Debra Finn, the Wayne County Clerk. She was our primary contact with the county and has first-hand knowledge of virtually all aspects of the project. We understand that Wayne County recently applied for and received Nebraska Historic Tax Credits. How did you learn about the tax credit program?
When Jerry came and visited with the board, he came and was looking around the building. He was able to make some recommendations as to what we could do for the building. And at that time, he brought us this, what we felt was very good news about the historic tax credits.
Now that your project is complete, could you explain how tax credits supported the maintenance of your courthouse?
It's available money. Commissioners have a lot of tough decisions to make. So when you come with this money from tax credits, it's money you can use that does not have to come from the pocket of a taxpayer.
What are some of the details about your project that were made possible by tax credits?
Just maintenance overall around the building is what we wanted to do, but we were able to do more as a result of having this extra money that we knew was going to be coming. And now we have money for the future to continue on the tuck pointing.
How has your community responded to the project that utilized the Nebraska Historic Tax Credits?
Maintaining this courthouse has become something of an importance. People take pride in it. And when we started working on this in 2018 through 2020, the pride re-emerged. The roof was the funniest part of it all, because they started putting up these shingles. The shingles had kind of turned green through the years, and they started putting up these shingles. And people started driving from out of county just to see our roof. We have all these different colored shingles. This is what they originally were.
We understand that the process is made up of 5 parts. Can you explain those parts and how your consultants help you submit successful applications?
Bergen and Associates helped us with the first 3 parts. It's a 5-part process. Okay, they worked with the first 3 parts and filled out just about all of the paperwork. There was a small part that I had to do, but they fed me the answers. So all I had to do was log in and type them in and get it signed. But they carried the load for this. David Levy and Baird Holm, they took care of parts 4 and 5. So they will walk you through this. Yes, there's going to be a fee, but there is no way that an average county official is going to have the training to do these. So they help you with it.
All renovation projects have challenges or limitations. What are some of the limitations Wayne County encountered as a result of utilizing the tax credit program?
You will have some limitations as to what you can use the money for. For example, you're not going to be using it just to go in and remodel something and modernize it. You are going to be using it for historic purposes to maintain the integrity of what you have.
It seems Wayne County has had a good experience with the tax credit program. Now that the project is complete, has the program influenced the decision-making process for your future maintenance projects?
It has helped us identify and prioritize what projects we're going to do next.
Would you consider applying for Nebraska Historic Tax Credits for future maintenance projects?
We'll use it again. Yes.
Your project was completed a couple of years ago. You are still within the 5-year period requiring review of your ongoing maintenance projects. With all of that experience, would you recommend applying for Nebraska Historic Tax Credits to your peers in other counties?
Definitely. But make sure you have an architect and someone that's going to help you. You don't want to do this by yourself.